Welcome back to Planting Life Matters. We are so excited because we finally got rain after 60 days. Things were looking pretty grim around here. I lost 5 arborvitae trees, which was very painful to let go of, but I had to pull those out. And made a couple of changes just in the last, week or so. It's been unbelievable how I've watered for 60 days. 60 days of watering twice per day and just barely trying to keep things alive. And then finally got rain this past week, 2 days in a row. And unbelievable how the grass went from golden blonde to back to green. I'm so grateful, thank you God, for it all. It's been wonderful. So I'm gonna do a quick little walkabout to show a few things off, and this video may be a little long. I apologize, but I want to do a full spectrum of the garden: what's good, what's bad, what's died. And I'm going to start here, which is the entry from my back gate into the garden if I'm coming from the front of the house. And this was a $2 rock rose clearance plant that I bought year before last, that was no taller than 1 foot tall, about 12 inches tall, and no more than probably 5-6 inches wide at the time. Right now, this may be a little deceiving. I'm 5'4", yeah, so this thing is probably close to 6 feet tall now, and about 4.5-5 feet wide, most likely. But it's a beautiful rock rose. It looks kind of wild. It's native to Texas. And I just love the pink blooms that it puts off. They close up in the evening, and they're gorgeous. But it is deciduous. Cut it back at the end of the year, and it comes back just as big. So I have lots of purple heart. I've been having purple heart since forever. I dig it out every year and get rid of it. And I have a contorted filibert tree. I believe I'm saying that right. You can see how the trunk is contorted, which is why they call it that. And this is a 2-year-old specimen tree at this point. It's supposed to actually bloom in the spring with these really long, yellowy flower. Hold on, I got a new puppy. He's 4 months old, if you can believe that size. And he is being trained now how to walk through the garden. Yeah, not going so great. But anyway, so yeah, this tree is pretty amazing. It's just 2 years old. I love how the branches are contorted. And I'll put the right name up here on the screen with it. This is kind of a junk area that I play in. I haven't ever defined exactly what I want to do in this bed just yet. But lots of crepe myrtle. That's more of a shrub or a bush that I need to plant or I should say trim like a tree. And oh my goodness, I absolutely love this lamb's ear. This is one lamb's ear, and it is about 3 feet long and wide, probably. It's gorgeous. Yeah, and just, I put things in places where it's really hard to grow. So this is blue spruce sedum. It will be there. It's evergreen, and that way I don't have to worry about watering in places where the sprinklers don't hit. And this big monster here is a Turk's cap. It's huge. It's probably about 6 years old, and it's at least 8 feet wide at this point. I can back up a little bit. Sorry about the lighting. But yeah, so it's pretty big, but this is the first year that it got hit with powdery mildew. If I get close in there, you can see it. So I've sprayed it, I've tried to treat it, and because of that, in certain sections, it doesn't have the blooms that it normally has. There's one that's further down the pathway that's full of blooms. It's healthy, but yeah, so that looks pretty bad. But I want to back up for a second because I want to show this red tip Fatima, which was a shrub, but training it to be a tree. It's over 20 feet tall now. And the reason I'm showing that is because this is what I'm actually using to replace the arborvitae that died this summer. because I live on a main street behind my garden back there, that fence, and it's a bit of traffic noise, but privacy issue. That fence is just 5 feet tall. It used to be taller, but the HOA controls that fence. When they replaced it, made it a little short. 12 inches makes a difference when it comes to privacy. So now I'm trying to figure out what can I grow up the back of that fence to, like there's a truck going by there, you should see, okay? And I wanna hide all that out. So, because the trees that are back there are all deciduous. Right now I'm good for privacy, but come the winter time when the leaves drop, you know, I lose a lot of privacy in the back. But here's another that started as a 2-foot shrub, and as it began to grow, just take out the bottom branches, and I need to clean this one up some, and then you can form it like a tree. Like for example, on this one here, you see all the new growth that's coming in just since the rain the other day, but I'm gonna go back and cut that off. The best thing to do is use this white milky spray that's called Sucker Punch to put on the areas where you cut it, and that helps to maintain the suckers from coming back in, or new branches, and so I'll be adding that on there. All right, so here, this little peninsula area, you know, I have some vinca there. I have some supertunia. I do not remember which names those are for that one. This big red vinca, I love the fact that even though it's considered an annual here in zone 8 for North Texas, it comes back. I did not plant that this year. It dropped from a basket last year, and that's what we got. So that's cool. I did plant a lot of zinnias this year. I don't think this is the profusion variety, but I'll have to find a name for those too. But they are what struggle the most during the heat wave. Now, even though zinnias are tolerant to heat, they really will crinkle up on you fast and get the hard, dry, brittle leaves. Gotta keep them moist. Now you can see I have a hose here now, a soaker hose. This is not a drip irrigation system that's set up. I was hand watering because my sprinkler system does really great in most areas, but it wasn't getting the, that dog is a little loony. Oh boy. Yeah, we got some work to do. Some training to do. And so yeah, I wasn't getting enough water here. And so once I put the hose down, it really did help out tons. So I got to figure out a drip irrigation so I don't have to hand water as much next year in this area if I'm going to have annuals here. But I think the overall goal is to eventually have more perennials. So no, dog, no, get out of there. I'll try not to talk too much on some of the stuff that I've already shown. More Turk's cap, but you can see how this one blooms so much more. If you want a ton of hummingbirds and bumblebees, oh, here goes a bumblebee now, this is the plant for you. I'm telling you, this thing attracts so many bumblebees, and it attracts a ton of beautiful little birds, hummingbirds, every single day. Beautiful, beautiful plant. All right, so I started to introduce in this area, even though I have shrubs, by the way, these are little gem boxwoods, all the way down, little gems. They seem to do better in part shade. This area is kind of split between shade and sun a little bit, so it's really hard to find the right groove for this area. So here, shrubs always die. No matter what I plant in this area, it dies. So I decided I'm going to start adding in some sedum. And I believe this one is Munstead Red sedum. And so far, it's loving it. It's happy. Most of the time, sedums do not care about the soil so much. Doesn't get as watered. So I think that's what this area is going to be. So these are kind of new beds where I'm introducing a few more lambs here, just because I can divide them up to save money and add perennials. I don't know what will be here long term, so I'm just playing around for now. All right, let's keep going. I do not remember the name of these shrubs, but they are dwarf and they need to be trimmed, but because we've had such a hot, heated area, I don't want to trim. I can start to trim now. It's starting to cool down, but I'll probably wait till the spring. Brought in a few items back here recently and put in pots because I get really good irrigation in this area. I don't have to hand water so much. I do have landscape fabric under there where I need to either cut to plant some items, but just thought I'd leave some pots for right now. I'm not going to talk about these trees at the moment. That's a trash tree I didn't really plant. It started as a seedling in a pot. Look at that. That's crazy. But it is keeping it from growing humongous. This tree grows about 100 feet tall. It's a cottonwood. Can get up to 100 feet tall. I know I'm going to take it out because I don't want the root system that it brings with it. I don't know what that tree is. That's a volunteer tree that I might keep. I just need to move it a bit away from that fence potentially. Okay, let's see. That thing's blowing over out here from the wind and the rain. Just an area where I'm playing with some different sedums. I ordered one of those trays from Home Depot where it gives you a mixture for like 30 bucks. You can break them off and plant them in different areas. I haven't done anything with it yet. And all right, so you hear that loud truck. That's what I have to deal with. That's why I have a lot of water fountains, and I need a sound barrier on this back fence with some trees eventually one day. Here is where I lost all of my arborvitaes that were against this fence, and there were 5 of them, and they were so healthy and pretty. So I now have to replace them red tip Fatima. This is no more than 2.5 feet tall right now, but eventually, and it won't take long, they are super fast growing. This is a 5-foot fence. I expect this to be over this fence within the next 2 seasons, I would imagine. That's hopeful thinking. Here's one with a tag I didn't take off. So we can see red tip, Photinia red robin. Okay, so I have some coleus mixed in, another volunteer tree, which is a crepe myrtle. I'll pull it up, eventually dig it up and place it in a pot or somewhere else. I'll just let it sit for now. Elephant ears, oh my gosh, normally in the spring, these things are 5-6 feet tall. Beautiful, beautiful, healthy. Because of the heat wave, everything went dormant. They stopped blooming. Believe it or not, this actually looks better than what it did just a week ago. But I lost a few of those back here. This is my hot mess zone. You can see where the water runs off. I have some things to figure out in this area, what I'm going to do long term. Carolina jasmine, it got really stressful as well. But I can see some new growth coming in on it now. You can see the dead leaves, but look at that new growth. So it's still growing, it's not dead. If you had anything that died in this heat wave or it appears to be dead, don't get rid of it too quickly. That may not be the case. Purple fountain grass, it's doing great. It loves the heat, no problem with that. All right, so here is another hot mess area. Oh my gosh, dogs should have designated areas to poop. That's what that is, the fenced area. He doesn't know this yet. Okay, so I have a couple of trees that I bought. This dog is not gonna make it in my garden. He's gonna have to go. He's not mine. I say I got another puppy. That's because he came with my grandson. The grandson and the dog probably is gonna go. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I digress. So green giant arborvitae. I don't know why I bought these. First of all, I know they're too big to grow in the ground. I bought 2 of them. I was thinking a pot, full sun, put them in a large pot, but that's not gonna work. Not with my heat here. It's just too much. I took care of them. I watered them routinely and they still died. Glad I got my receipts. So we struggle with our grass. Believe it or not, this looks incredible compared to just 1 week ago. It was blonde, it was golden brown, but I watered it. I kept watering it every day. My water bill is gonna be crazy. We were in triple digits for weeks at a time and no rain for 60 days in my garden. So I'm fortunate to have this much grass left. Pretty bad. Caladiums struggled. They never took off. Everything again, it just was dormant. It stopped growing. So this plant here, bushy shrub, is what hot lips, yeah, that's it. Hot lip salvia. It puts off red flowers. The reason I planted that in the backside of the tree, my garden is west facing, full sun. Well, I love shade plants. And so the tree, even though it provides shade, it wasn't giving quite enough at the base of the tree for some things I wanted to plant. So I put the hot lip salvia in the back, so I knew it would grow at least 2 to 3 feet high and provide and protect the things that I plant in the front. That actually worked pretty well for the moment. So I'm gonna figure out that a little bit more as we go. Okay, so just another wide kind of look how things are doing. I got all the furniture out of the grass because I'm trying to make sure it gets enough sunlight. Normally I would have those chase chairs out here, but this is an area where it just wasn't getting enough sunlight and water. I put some grass patch down on the ground. That's what that is. Hopefully like grass seeds and some stuff added in. I'm not a big grass person, but I'm going to learn to be. That's my next goal. So otherwise, okay, he just knocked over this. Yeah, I see what's happening here. Yeah, and now he just broke that, but that's okay. I'm gonna go put it in some water and grow another one. But this is why it's hard to have a really big dog in your garden. It's tough, and I'm trying, really trying. Okay, so I had some, I think Leyland cypress small ones from last Christmas in these pots. They were so beautiful for most of the year until the heat wave, and they didn't survive. So I went and picked up a couple of shrubs and put in there. But the shrubs are sharing the pot with a clematis and some coleus, sweet potato vine, a few things. Roses really struggle as well. They may have some witch hazel, some rose rosette, unfortunately, and if so, they're all going to be pulled out, every bit of them. And I really think that's the case. If I get really close, oh, that looks bad. That's not good. So most likely I'm going to have to pull every single rose out of here and replace it with something else. I'm just not great with roses. Let's make a way. So I can't remember the name of this particular, let's go around here, sedum. I just got it. Vera. I'll have to find the name and put it up. But I like it. It's hardy down to negative 30 degrees. So it's perennial, and it can be used or should be used as a ground cover. So I'm going to put more of that in. That's just 3 little plants right there. But I'm going to start to have it go through. Now, yes, sedum prefers full sun. This area gets a lot of sun right here, even though it's under a couple of trees. So those are very young trees. Lamb's ear is doing amazing. I think I love lamb's ear more this year than I ever have, but I have learned that there are more than one type of lamb's ear. There's a really skinny, narrow leaf kind that I had last year. I just did not like it. It struggled. But this wider leaf one, I had a piece that looked like it was dead. I broke it off, had just a little root, threw it in this pot. Let me get around in here. Threw it in this pot in the spring. It wasn't bigger than my hand, and look at that. So it's just so fluffy. I love it. I love the texture. It's so soft. It's like cotton. All right, no, go back. I'm cutting through a flower bed, which I shouldn't do in front of him because he wants to follow. Come on. No. Okay, so I got a hot mess area alert. Hot mess alert. Back here, man, I've just never gotten to this area. This is where the dogs come to use the potty right now. We try to keep them in one designated area, like I said. So my next goal is to, because I've killed all the weeds. I had a lot of crabgrass. I've been hand pulling crabgrass and weeds, but it's left me with no grass as a result. So what I'm going to do is put turf back here. The same way you would see turf at a little pet resort or a doggy daycare, so we can control what they're doing and just make this area look better. Eventually the pathway will be a complete circle around the entire garden, but it ends right there right now. So I got stone, I got rock, I got a bunch of base that I'm going to be putting down to eventually finish this pathway. That way I can take my walks in a full circle every morning, because right now I take, you know, 3/4 of the way through with my coffee in the morning, and I always stop back here. This area here is a little play garden for my 4-year-old grandbaby, and we just never finished it. We put a couple of things in, and eventually we'll finish that too. So that's why I call it the hot mess area. I think everything's kind of a hot mess right now, to be honest. It's a lot of work to do after what happened this summer. A lot of things that burned, scorched, died. There was a rose tree in here. I pulled that out and got rid of it. This one doesn't appear to have rose rosette yet, but if I don't get rid of the other ones, everything rose related will. It's airborne. Once they get rose rosette, that's it. They die. There is nothing you can do about it, nothing to treat it with, and you should properly bag it up and dispose of it so it doesn't get airborne to other people around you as well. All right, so for the most part, everything else, the trees have gotten much larger than I wanted. As far as this peach tree, this spring I will be cutting that back tremendously. The goal was to always keep it at a level where I could reach up and get the peaches from it. I don't think I ever really wanted it to become 20-30 foot tree, even though I love trees. I'm okay with it being large, but I want to be able to maintain it and get the fruit off of it without having a ladder. So, oh wait, let me show you the sunshine ligustrum. Oh my gosh, ligustrum, ligustrum, depending on how country you are. I don't know how to say it always. Man, I cut these back. I took 2.5, probably 2.5 feet off of them back in April. That has grown back and then some. I literally had them sheared to where they were very even, very formal looking, believe it or not. Just in April, May, June, July, August, September, 5 months later, this is what we have. The pathway is so narrow now, I can barely get down it. So at the end, those shrubs down there are at least 7 feet tall, because that arch is 8 feet tall. And the wisteria is doing amazing. It did great during the triple digits, not a problem. The sunshine ligustrum, same thing, not a problem. But wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I gotta get an old picture from when I first put this in, because these elephant ears, there's no way this video is going to show just how humongous they are. Well, that's at the top of my house almost. So I'm gonna guess that elephant ear is at least 10 feet tall right there, at least. I know I have a mirror on the wall back there that is 24 inches across by 48 inches long. So that elephant ear is at least 48 inches long. And it is definitely over 2 feet wide. Amazing. Now these elephant ears were very black and purple, but because they get a little too much sun exposure, a lot of the green has come through. But if you look at the stalk of it, you see how purple, beautiful, reddish that is versus the greener one there. All of this from a 99-cent bulb on the green ones. I may have paid $9 for this purple one, and it is in a quart-sized pot that I never took out and never put into the ground. And when I brought it home, it was only maybe 2 feet tall, if that, 18 inches to 2 feet tall. And it is really growing that much inside of a little quart container. Imagine what it would have done if I got it in the ground, which I will do eventually. I'll probably pot it, bring it in the house, overwinter it, and then plant it into the landscape next year. But that's that for right now. It's been a very fun little summer and a good experience. Another volunteer tree that I did not plant that apparently is a white crepe myrtle. I will eventually shape that up, clean it up so it can grow better. And I think I'm gonna end here. I really appreciate you taking this little walk with me. And we got a lot of work to do. Hope your garden struggles were better than mine for this summer, but I'm very thankful for the rain. And as always, remember to hit that subscribe button, that like button, check back for new videos in the future. I appreciate it. Thank you. Planting Life Matters.